right, so here we go. Today we are going to be talking about purpose-driven prospecting. I can't wait for you to kind of get a sense of how this is going to be different from maybe some of the things you've done in the past. And like I said, if you've struggled with prospecting, I guarantee you this is going to be something that's going to help you tremendously. Now, first thing I want to say is this. Legacy leaders are different. Now, we're different in a lot of ways, but one of the ways we're different when it comes to prospecting is that we focus on and lead with our why in everything that we do. As a legacy leader, we build what I like to call a for-purpose network marketing business. You know, the end goal for us is not just making a lot of money, it's making an impact and leaving a legacy. And so that's instead of for profit, we build for purpose network marketing businesses. And you have to understand this. People will buy into why you do what you do before they buy into what you do. And the why is the key. And that's what we're going to share with you today, how to tap into the power of that. Legacy leaders conduct purpose-driven prospecting. See, this is a very different way to approach people about your network marketing opportunity. See, here's what it's going to do. If you're feeling fear about prospecting and reaching out to people, purpose-driven prospecting will virtually eliminate any fear that you have. See, because when you have a really strong driving force behind you reaching out to people, when it's about more than just making money and getting a new recruit, when it has a deeper seated meaning for you, it helps you eliminate fear. See, purpose-driven prospecting also will help you make instant connections with people. You're going to be able to approach people that have told you no before 3, 4, 5 times and have a completely different type of conversation that will resonate with people on a much, much different level. So let's talk about how is purpose-driven prospecting different? Well, the first thing, and we've mentioned this already, is that when you can clearly communicate and lead with your why when speaking with a prospect, that's what makes purpose-driven prospecting different. It's based on you sharing your unique impact goal for your business. So what we're going to do in this exercise, we're going to help you get clarity on what that is, and I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But it's presenting your network marketing opportunity in a completely different and more meaningful way. See, if you can get people, you can get your prospects to look at your opportunity differently, to see it in a different light, to look at it from a different context, it will have a tremendous effect on your results. And that's what purpose-driven prospecting does. But let's talk about why is it so effective? Well, the key to success in prospecting is really transferring energy and enthusiasm. It's being able to make an impact in that person that you're talking to. And what I have found in my experience is the reason why people struggle when it comes to prospecting is they don't make an impact with people. There is no energy and real enthusiasm behind their words and what they say. So here's what you need to do. You have to find something that lights you on fire when you are talking to people. See, many of you have this when it comes to your products, right? You're very passionate about your products, and you can talk about your products all day long. But once again, that's not why you're doing what you're doing. It's what you're doing. And that's not the key to success in prospecting, especially not purpose-driven. See, purpose-driven prospecting, it speaks directly to your prospect's limbic decision-making center of their brain. Now, some of you are like, oh man, he's getting fancy now. Well, listen, I'm going to break this down very simply for you, but there is actually, the reason why this works is rooted in human biology, okay? We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Purpose-driven prospecting will help you make a much deeper and emotional connection with people. See, here's what I know. Here's what I want you to understand. If your beliefs and your values, okay, what you share in your why, Align with your prospects' belief and values. I will tell you, it is game over. If people relate to you on that level, I'm here to tell you your presentation doesn't even matter. Now, some of you are like, I find that hard to believe. That's the power of connecting with people on this level. And then the last thing it does is this, is when you can have those shared beliefs and values with someone, it will help you make an instant and a genuine connection. And that's the reason why this is so effective. It'll make you stand out. See, when you can open up with why, what you're being is you're demonstrating vulnerability and authenticity. And when you can go to that place, what happens is you open up that same thing in your prospects, right? You're not kind of dancing around the surface and having this conversation that really isn't getting into anything important. You're starting out with the important stuff. And when you can connect with people in that way, it makes everything else flow so much easier. But I want you to think of it like this. There's two different ways that you can prospect. You can go out there and just aimlessly shoot for everyone, hoping that someone will be interested in something that you have to say. Now, I probably just described a lot of your prospecting strategy, and that's okay because we all start out that way. But I'm going to give you a different way to think of prospecting, and this is where we're going to tap into this training. Or you can go through with intention, knowing your why and being clear in your communication. And instead of trying to be everything to everybody, go straight for the people that fit your same vision. Listen, here's the paradox of how this works. By you not trying to be everything to everyone, which winds up really making you not attract anyone really well, by you making a shift and start being very specific in who you are, what you believe, and what you're looking for, here's the paradox. You wind up attracting way more people. Think about it like this also. Who do you really want on your team? I mean, do you want to work with just anybody that says yes? Or do you want to attract people like you? But now, obviously, the answer is you want people like you, but here's what I want you to understand. If your prospect, that ideal person that you want, if they don't really know who you are, if you're not connecting with them on this level, how are they going to find you to know that you're the right person for them to partner up with and work with? And then always remember this. People don't join companies, they join other people. Listen, your ability to enroll someone into your vision and why is one of the most important parts of successful recruiting. So always be asking yourself, what makes me different? Why would someone want to join me? So let's move into talking about this whole concept of an impact goal. And I want to ask you, what is your impact goal for your business? What's that thing that you want to accomplish that is much bigger and much more meaningful and important than just making money? You know, how do you want the world to be different or better because you're here? Listen, I don't know all of you, but here's what I know about you because you're a member of this program, because you said, I want to be a legacy leader, that this is important to you. And remember, as a legacy leader, the final destination for you isn't just freedom. It's not just money. It's what that freedom allows us to do. It's the impact that we can make because of the financial, personal, and time freedom that our network marketing business gives us. Now, I'll tell you this, most people never think about this. Most people, all they ever have is monetary goals. I want to hit this rank. I want to drive that car. And listen, that's all nice. And I'm not saying you shouldn't want that. But as a legacy leader, we take it even a step further. We go deeper. We come up with something more meaningful to drive us. And I'm telling you, most people, they never even consider this. Look, I'll tell you this. When I shifted my focus in my own business and stopped obsessing over trying to make $1 million, and I shifted my focus and I started obsessing over trying to help 1 million people, trying to impact a million people, everything changed for me for the better. And that's what I want to help happen for you as well. And I want to acknowledge this. Some of you might be thinking, I don't know if I have a why. I can't really think of it. Well, I'll tell you this. Every one of us has a why. Every one of you has a deep-seated purpose, a cause or a belief that is or can be the source of your passion and inspiration. Now, you might not yet know what yours is, or maybe you just don't know how to express it in words, but I guarantee you have one. And discovering what this is for you and learning how to clearly communicate it is the key to purpose-driven prospecting. Let's talk a little bit about happiness versus fulfillment. If we possess a success mindset for our business, it's just about making money and material things. And the success mindset will lead you to happiness. Happiness is good, but it's not enough. But if we can learn how to adopt a significance mindset to our business, that will lead us to fulfillment, which in my opinion is the key to long-term lasting success. See, success is about you. Significance is about other people. See, success is producing, here's the definition of each. Success is producing results in competition with others. Significance is producing desired results competing against yourself. Success is achieving wealth and influence and popularity through your accomplishments that only endure while you are alive. Significance is achieving those same things: wealth, influence, popularity, and admiration, loyalty, and respect. Now, the same thing, it happens through your accomplishments, but significance, those endure long beyond you've left this planet, even after you're here. So significance is the thing that we really need to start to pursue. So happiness versus fulfillment. Let's break this down a little bit more. Happiness is temporary. The problem is that feeling doesn't last. That's the success mindset. Look, think of it like this. I can almost guarantee you that you are not waking up every day walking around energized by that rank advancement that you got a year ago, right? You're not going out crushing your day from that internal drive, from the bonus check that you got 6 months ago. It doesn't happen. See, it's temporary, it's fleeting, but fulfillment is much deeper. That's the significance mindset. See, it's the difference between liking and loving something. See, I think of it, obviously with my new son, Grayson, I can relate to this now. Children are a great example. We don't like our kids all the time, but we love them all the time, right? And I feel that way with him when he's crying and he won't shut up. I don't like him, but I still love him. That's the difference between happiness and fulfillment. See, happiness, get this is really important. Happiness comes from what we do. Fulfillment comes from why we do it. And this is what this whole process is about. See, we find fulfillment knowing that we're contributing to a higher cause with larger implications than just your own personal need. See, here's where the power of this really comes in. You cannot be happy doing what you're doing every day, which guess what? That pretty much describes your business. There will be days where you will not like it. You will even hate it. You will not feel motivated. You're not going to be happy doing it. But if you've tapped into fulfillment, if you are fulfilled by your work, you will still have the fuel to continue. If you just have a success mindset and you only have happiness as your fuel, those days when you don't like it, you're not going to take action. But fulfillment, significance keeps you moving forward. Now, this is actually based off of something that is a book. It's a book that I would highly recommend every single one of you check out. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Simon Sinek. He wrote a book called Starting with Why, and he just recently published a second book, which was part two, called Finding Your Why. And in this book, he teaches something called the Golden Circle. And this was the basis for a TED Talk that he gave, which is literally the most popular TED Talk of all time, over 20 million views or something like that. But here's what the Golden Circle says. Every organization and every person operates on three levels. What we do, which is the outer ring of the circle. Now, what we do are the products that we sell, the services we offer, the jobs that we do. Okay, most people know what they do. The inner circle, the second circle, is how. Now, some of us know how we do it. Now, how are the things that we do differently to stand out, right? I sell skincare, but here's how my skincare is different from yours or better than yours, the what and the how. This is where most network marketers spend all their time. See, but the inner circle is why. And this is the most important. And very few people, I haven't seen many people that I've come across in this profession that can clearly articulate why they do what they do. But the why, the golden circle, that is the key that unlocks this for you. See, when most network marketers are prospecting, they spend all their time telling people what they do, and then they explain how they're different. It's all about features and benefits, facts, and figures. Now, the problem with this approach is that features and benefits do not distinguish you from anyone else in a way that truly matters. See, loyalty is not built on features and benefits. Yes, I get it. Your product might be truly unique and no one else has anything like it, or yours is better than everyone else's. I get it. But if that's the only reason that someone buys from you, the next time that something else comes along, and guess what? There's always going to be a something else. I don't care what business you're in. The next time that happens, they're gone. See, features and benefits don't inspire people. They don't create loyal advocates of what you're doing. And what we're talking about here, this is what I talk about being an infomercial. If all you do is talk about what you do and how you do it, that's where that infomercial comes in. See, I want to teach you how to tap into the deeper why. See, when you can lead with why, when you can tell someone why you do what you do before you share what and how, it will have a deeper, a more emotional, and ultimately a more influential value. Listen, I experienced this firsthand with this program. When we surveyed all of you, we surveyed many of you, and we had almost 1,000 people respond to the survey. One of the questions we asked was, why did you join? What was it that made you decide to join? And the overwhelming number one response was this, that they had the same belief that I did. This whole concept of wanting to make an impact and leave a legacy, it resonated with them. And that was the reason why a lot of you joined. And that was the reason why this program has been exponentially more successful than I expected it to be. See, it was my ability to clearly communicate my why is what made this program stand out from other things that are out there. And that's what's going to make you stand out. See, instead of telling your prospect what you do, I sell skincare, I sell weight loss, and how you're different, ABC ingredient, natural, non-toxic, blah, 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 we're going to help you lead with why. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So here's an example of what it would mean to lead with why. Let's just say that you go through this exercise and you're a single mom and you're working a career and you really struggled with having purpose and excitement behind what you do. There's no meaning. And you struggled with not having time for your children to be able to be the mother that you needed to be a positive role model to your daughter and to raise your kids the right way. And you struggled financially with not really having stability or independence. And because of this thing called network marketing, and because of this thing called ABC Company, it became the vehicle that allowed you to finally have purpose and meaning in your life. It gave you the ability to have time to spend with your children, to be the mother to your son and daughter that you needed to be, to have to be that positive role model, to show them that it is possible to live your dreams, to have financial stability finally in your life. And my mission today is to help other people that are struggling with the same things I struggled with. Helping people that have no sense of purpose, helping other single mothers that want to be there for their children, that want to be a better role model, that want to have financial stability. My mission is to help people through this thing called ABC Company. Now, let me ask you something. What do you think would be a more powerful conversation to have with someone? Could you imagine if you sat down with the prospect and had that conversation in the very beginning of your presentation? I am telling you that if that other person related to you or resonated with you on those same levels, it's game over. Like, they're already in because they've bought into you. And if you want to take your prospecting to the next level, and if you want to get over your fear of talking to people, the key is why. Knowing your why, it helps you feel truly passionate for your work, like you're contributing to something bigger. You become an unstoppable force. It gives you that internal drive and motivation to make things happen. It's a more sustainable source of power. So here's how the golden circle works. It's actually rooted in the biology of the brain, like we talked about. I'm not going to go too in depth here. I just want you to understand this. See, the problem is when communicating our why, it's actually rooted in biology. See, the outer section of the brain, what? Corresponds to a part of the brain called the neocortex, which is responsible for rational and analytical thought. See, it helps us understand facts and figures and features and benefits. It's also responsible for language. So when you're talking about what you do, you're tapping into that outer layer of your prospect's brain. The problem is this. The why, the middle two sections, correspond to the part of the brain called the limbic system. Now, the limbic brain is actually the decision-making part of the brain. It is also responsible for feelings. And here's the problem, though. The limbic brain has no capacity for language. So if you've ever, we've all had this happen, where we have a gut feeling that something is the right thing to do, right? If you've ever had a gut feeling that you just knew your intuition was telling you this was what I should do, that is the limbic part of your brain speaking to you. See, but if all you're doing is speaking what, you're not tapping into what people make decisions. Listen, we are not rational beings. We make decisions on emotions. So if we can communicate our why, if we can tap into the limbic part of our prospects' brains, that's where they make decisions, is through those emotions. And once you can get to this, once you can clearly articulate what that why is, I promise you, you will feel more fulfilled. You will feel more authentic when you're having prospecting conversations because you are working with purpose and on purpose. All right, so let's teach you how to discover this, okay? So now that you understand what it is and why it's important, let's help you get to the root of this. We're going to give you some exercises here. See, discovering your why starts with you examining the events and the situations that led you to decide to start your business. So the first thing I want you to do is this, and just so that you know, we're going to give you a PDF implementation guide that is going to walk you through the steps of this process. So if you want to take notes, great, pay attention, but just know you're going to have the slides, and we're going to give you an implementation guide, so don't feel compelled that you have to write down every single word here. But I want you to think of the areas of your life where you were dissatisfied and how your network marketing business provided you a solution. I'm going to give you areas of focus right now. See, almost every single person you know is lacking in at least one of these 5 areas: time, money, security, health, or purpose. See, these 5 areas become the basis for helping you identify the why of your business. So I want you to think of your specific situation. Which of these 5 areas were the things that led you to your business? See, most of the time, 1 or 2 will jump out at you right away. Maybe you're in a nutritional company and your health was the thing that was the area of concern for you, and your products led you to this business, and your transformation came through your health. Maybe for you, it was time. What led me to my network marketing business was I already was a high income earner in medical sales, but I had no time and I had no purpose. So time and purpose were the things that led me to mine. See, you have to figure out what is the one or two that's most important to you. Now, many of you might have aspects of a lot of these, but there's always one, maybe two that will stand out. And then here's what I want you to do. Once you've identified them, I want you to take some time to literally just empty your mind on paper. I want you to start, open up a Google Doc or whatever, and just start writing down the details of your story as it relates to these one or two areas. Now, at this point, there is no right or wrong. I just want you to start writing whatever comes to mind. See, I say set aside a solid hour, 1 hour set aside to do this. Because what you really want to do is you want to be able to really dig deep. See, it's about more than just writing down the facts of what happened. It's about taking that extra step and getting much more detail. So here are some kind of guidelines to help you do this. When we're writing, the more specific you can be, the better. See, the power of this process is in the details. And then when we talk about the details, what I want you to do is more than just what happened. I want you to think about what were the feelings that you had during those times? What were the lessons that you learned in those experiences and in those events that led you to your why? See, it's your ability to put words to your emotions and feelings. That'll be the key to unlocking the why. Think about this. What were the key experiences and the key people in your life that have really shaped who you are today and led you? Maybe it was an event that happened, you got laid off, or someone in your life passed away from a health reason, and it made you evaluate your life, and that led you to what you do today. Because a lot of times what you're going to find is that it's also challenges and struggles. What were the major challenges and struggles that you had to overcome? These are usually the things that lead us to our purpose and our why. Okay, now we'll talk a little bit more about this, but when we're recounting the details, what I want you to focus on is what were the lessons that you learned going through these events. And then write down the specific details and make sure you're recalling, really go there emotionally. Do more than just recall the facts. Go one level deeper. This is the reason why I want you to take at least an hour to do this. I really want you to emotionally go back to that time. Now, I understand for some of you, this might be difficult, okay? Because some of the things that you share, they may be bad experiences or even challenging times. And these might even be things that you're currently dealing with. But I want you to understand this. It is critical for us to understand that both the bad and the good experiences make us who we are today. Now, when you're doing this, and when we get you to the point where you're actually sharing this, I want you to understand that what we do not want you to do is take what I call the woe is me approach to writing your story. See, if you went through or are going through a tough time, what I want you to do is focus on the lessons that you learned or are learning, or who you had to become to get through that difficult time. And I'm going to give you one of the biggest tips I could ever give you when doing this. If you do have a challenging event, here's how I want you to share it. I want you to start in the middle. Start in the middle. Now, what does that mean? Well, starting in the middle means I don't need to hear all of the details of everything that led you to that event. Tell me the event that happened. I got laid off from work. I went through a severe health issue. Start in the middle and focus on moving forward. Here's the lesson that I learned. Here's who I had to become. Think of it like this. The purpose of you sharing your why has as much to do with your prospect as it does with yourself. See, when you're recalling these past challenges and negative events, always share them from the perspective of your prospect. Think about it like this. If you were sitting there trying to give advice to someone else that is going through a similar issue, how would you do that, right? Dealing with a similar challenge. That's always the way you want to write your story. Never from the negative, always from the positive. So then once we've had a chance to do that, we've sat down, We've just emptied our mind on paper for an hour. We have all these details. Now we need to refine this into something we can use. So take what you've written and edit it down to what's most important. Now, please hear me when I say this. For this part of the process, the initial interaction with a prospect, you need to be able to share this with someone in less than 90 seconds. 60 to 90 seconds max. Now, I will tell you, this is not easy to do because some of you will literally have pages of notes, but you've got to really boil this down to the most important thing. See, I want you to think of it like this. When you're sharing your story at this point in the process, there's two primary goals. Number one is you want to relate to your prospect. You want that prospect to get to know you and what's important to you. We want to connect with them on that emotional level, but you also want to create some curiosity. So at the early stages, we always have to remember this. Your prospect doesn't care about you. They care about what you can do for them. And your why, your story, is a tool to do that. See, you don't want to spend 10 minutes telling your story in the very first interaction because your prospect doesn't care about you. They care about what you can do for them. Now, you'll have an opportunity down the road to expand upon that and talk more about it, but this is not the place. The first interaction needs to be clear and concise. And I'll also tell you this. If you are lacking confidence in your prospecting, I can guarantee you here's the reason why. You don't know what you're going to say. You're not confident because you don't know what to say. See, by really getting this down, by writing it out and practicing it and knowing it like the back of your hand, you will have so much more confidence when you're talking to them. So here's a framework you can follow. Once again, this is going to be inside of the guide. First thing I want you to think about is this. Now that you have all this stuff just written out, you can start plugging into these different parts. What was lacking in your life before you joined your business? So go back to those 5 areas: time, money, security, purpose, health. What was the one for you that stood out the most? Maybe there's a second one you touch on. Second thing is, can you give a specific example that was the turning point? See, was there a specific event or experience that really embodies this that you could use as an example? Maybe it was the breaking point for you. You know, for me, in my story, I would talk about how I went through this experience where I almost literally went through 2 reorganizations, and I almost got laid off twice, and I narrowly survived. And I remember asking my boss, Steve, I said, "Hey, Steve, are you okay? Are you going to be affected by these layoffs?" And I'll never forget what my boss said to me. He said, "I don't even know." And it was in that moment I realized, I'm like, there's no security in what I'm doing. I'm looking at my future right in my face. I'm going to be Steve 10 to 15 years from now, and I'm going to be in the same position. See, so that was a story that I shared that people would hear, and they would say, wow, I can really relate to that. So is there a specific example that you could give? And then think of this. How did that experience make you feel? See, throughout this process, we're always talking about feelings and emotions because that's what's going to tap into the limbic brain of your prospect. That's the why. That's the thing that's going to help them make a decision. And then how did your business provide a solution? So I talk about, I found this opportunity, and it gave me the ability to get paid what I'm worth and have passion and purpose behind what I'm doing, and finally create something that I own that no one can take away from me, right? So how did your business provide the solution? Now, here's the key. We do not want to go into the details. Don't start talking about the company or mentioning it. Keep it generic at this point. Because remember, we want to create curiosity. And then the last thing is, what is the specific contribution and impact they're looking to make? So here's where we tie back into our story. We talk about, and the mission of what I do today, why I do it, is I want to help people that are dealing with that same issue that I did. People that are feeling not fulfilled, not excited, that are lacking security or not having good health. And by the way that I do it is this vehicle called ABC Company. See, what I want my prospect to do is I want them to start to look at this opportunity as a vehicle that can give them all of these things that I'm talking about. So this is the framework. You need to do this, get it under 90 seconds, be able to do this like the back of your hand. Let's talk about putting your why to work. So here's where we get into what your assignments are going to be. So I want you to make a commitment that over the next 30 days, you're going to share your why, your story, with as many people as humanly possible. See, I want you to literally contact everyone. And our challenge, we're going to be doing a challenge over the next 30 days, is that I want you to go out and I want you to share this with everyone you know. I want you to go to people that already told you no 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I want you to go to your customers. I want you to go to people that you've never spoken to yet. Warm market, cold market, I don't care who it is. I literally just want you to put this why into the world, because here's what you don't know. You never know who's going to hear that, and you're going to connect with them on a much different level. You never know someone that's going to hear that and say, hey, I have someone that just came to mind that you really need to talk to that I think this would resonate with. You're going to be connecting with people on a much, much different level. So as a part of that, what I'm going to want you to do is I want you to press the mental reset button. Wipe the slate clean. I want you to make a brand new contact list, a physical list where you write down the names. Get out your cell phone. Write down every single name. Get in your Facebook page. Start writing down names. I want you to write down 300 names minimum. Now, some of you are going to be like, oh my God, I don't know 300 people. Bull. Listen, give me your phone. How many contacts are in your phone? How many Facebook friends do you have? See, look, here's what you got to stop doing. You got to stop prejudging people. It's not your job to determine if somebody's interested. Let them do that. Just share it with them, because you never know where it's going to lead you. Somebody might lead you to that person. And then you're going to reach out to them one of two ways, direct or indirect. And here's the two approaches. Now, I'm going to give you right now just an example of what I would say. By no means am I saying that you have to say exactly this. I'm giving you a framework. Use your words. Here's an example of a direct approach where I want to know, is that person interested? So I recontact them and I say something like, look, I really would love to share with you why I started my business in the first place. I've never really had a chance to do that. You may have contacted this person before. You may not have. Hey, look, I'd love to share with you something. Would you allow me to share why I started my business? It may or may not be for you, but would you be open to letting me do that? And you know what? If it sounds interesting to you, great. But if not, then that's totally fine as well. See, all I'm looking to do is I'm asking them, will you allow me to share my why and see if this resonates with you, if this makes sense to you? That's a direct approach. Now, maybe it's somebody that's told you no a couple of times. Indirect approach might work for them. I know you're not interested in my business, but I wanted to ask you a huge favor. Now, most likely, this person probably never even took a look at what you did, or if they did, they certainly didn't see it in the way you needed them to. So by sharing your why, it might get them to look at it from a different perspective. Would you give me an opportunity to tell you why I started my business, right? When you're doing this, try to be genuine and authentic if it's over the phone or voice message. The reason I'm looking to expand my business, and I want to see if anyone comes to mind when you hear my story. Would you be open to that? It really would be a huge help. All I'm trying to do is get my why in front of as many people that I know, knowing that it is the why that's going to make the difference for a lot of people. Don't get into presenting the details at this point. Remember, your job is just invite, but make sure you share why before you get into the what. And then after you share that why, if they're interested and they're open to learning more, share a third-party tool with them, whether it's a recorded call, a video, your website, a sample. It doesn't matter. Just pick something that you can give to them. But I'm going to tell you this. Look, they may have already watched the stinking video. If you can lead with why, if they can start looking at this from a different perspective, they will see and hear that video in a different way. It is that powerful. But ultimately, it comes down to, is the timing right and are they open? All right, so here's your homework assignments. And once again, we're going to recap this and get this to you in the guide. I want you to complete the exercises in this training to discover your why. And I want you to work on refining it so that you can share it in 60 to 90 seconds. I want you to make a brand new, fresh contact list, at least 300 people. Some of you are intimidated by that. I'm telling you, if you get out your phone and you just start writing, you're not prejudging. Doesn't even mean that you'll contact every person. Just do the exercise. There's power in doing that. Third thing is I want you to identify the third-party tool that you're going to be using, right? Pick it. And understand this, there's no perfect tool. Just pick something to start the process. Most people are going to need to see 2, 3, 4 things anyway. Just pick something that you can start with. And then I want you to literally write out word for word what you're going to say. So you can use my scripts if you want, or you can write them in your own language. But I want you to physically write out so you know exactly what you're going to say, because here's what's going to happen. That's going to give you the confidence that you need. Then it's time to take action. So what I want each of you to do is this. This is my challenge to all of you. Over the next 30 days, I want you to carve out as much time as you can and make your own personal prospecting a priority, okay? I want you to start doing for-purpose prospecting. See, we are going to be doing a challenge and a contest. Here's what we're going to be doing. Over the next 30 days, we're going to be checking in with with you, holding you accountable for implementing. And we're going to be selecting people that share their success stories from this challenge inside of the Facebook group for some very exciting prizes, okay? Emphasis on very exciting prizes, all right? So this challenge is going to run until November 20th. That's going to be the date of our next masterclass. And I'm going to be giving you more information on the schedule. But over the next 30 days, here's what I want you to do. If you use this and it works and it helps you create a result, I want you to share it inside of the group. And we're going to be randomly selecting you for prizes. Now, here's why this is important. Because if this is working for you, the whole community needs to hear this. They need to be actually encouraged to see that people are doing this and that it's working. And then really it's time to get to work. So we're going to be getting the PDF implementation guide to you in the next couple of days. The recording of this, along with all of the slides in a PDF, will be in the membership area today or tomorrow. So you can have it right in front of you. The November schedule and the December. So we're going to be giving you the November and the December schedule. The schedule through the whole rest of the year will be coming out in the next couple of days so that you can plan and know when things are going to be. And then 2 other quick announcements. A lot of you have been asking about the live event that I announced is happening at the end of April next year. I will be announcing details of that next week for those of you that are interested and those of you that did the annual upgrade and get a free ticket to that event. So we'll be telling you what's happening there. And we have finally found a vendor to fulfill the t-shirt orders. So we're going to try to get that in motion, and hopefully we will be shipping t-shirts and make t-shirts available for purchase for all of you in the next, hopefully, 7 to 10 days. So that's the updates there. So let me go ahead and stop the screen share. So hopefully you all got a lot of value. That was a lot of information, but I'm telling you that what I just shared with you is so powerful. I can't wait for all of you to get out there and start using it. So, all right, cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop into the chat here, and we got about 10 minutes here to do some questions. So let me try to take some questions here. So Jessica says, if you use the video for your third-party tool, what would you suggest it includes? So Jessica, I think ideally for the initial